Artsabers has sent me their interpretation of one of my all-time favorite lightsabers. So let's crack this box open and see what it looks like. But before we actually open this thing, let's take a moment to appreciate the fact that it came in its own carrying case like this. That's really nice. No locks, but we do have 3 latches. And once we get those open, we can see what this lightsaber actually looks like. Now, as a kid of the 90s, my first theatrical release for Star Wars was The Phantom Menace, Episode 1, which means that the scene where Darth Maul unveils his lightsaber is permanently etched inside my brain. And that's what we have here today. Now, it comes with this little plastic wrap, but let's get that off so we can actually see what we're working with here. Now, right off the bat, this thing is absolutely gleaming, but you might notice that the buttons seem a little misaligned. That's because at the moment, it's actually 2 separate lightsabers that are joined by this junction here, which means you basically get 2 in 1, right? But I've also been told that there is a way to fix this alignment issue, so let's see if I can do that and come back to you. Alright, I've got it figured out. So if you see here, we have this little adjustment ring, and as we loosen this up, we can change how much space we have left on these threads. So if I set this to the right spot, I should be able to get them in alignment. Another observation, while you're trying to set this alignment, I recommend doing it while both sabers are actually attached. That way you can change the play as you go and try to finesse that alignment. See right there, a little too much. So we're gonna tighten it up a little bit and see if we can fix that a bit more. Right about there. Now that's pretty fetching, but it's missing a little something something, which happens to be included in the box. These bands. Now, I believe Maul has 5 of these bands placed throughout his lightsaber. The first one goes on the end, and then another one here, 1 in the center, and then 1 there, and 1 at the other end. And that is the completed saber. I've always been a big fan of how Maul's lightsaber sort of blended this elegance in the high polish and just the simplicity of it, combined with a utilitarian quality achieved by this array of control knobs and buttons, and the red buttons in particular really pop against the silver finish, and I just think it's a really beautiful lightsaber when taken in whole. This is just a big lightsaber in general. It feels potent even without the blades installed. Like, this thing is some serious hardware, and it is just so much fun to handle and manipulate. It is really cool. But as cool as the lightsaber is, we actually have a lot more to look at in this box. So what all does this come with? So what's already fallen out are these 2 cotton gloves, which with a nice polish like that, I can definitely understand some collectors wanting to make sure that they maintain that sheen and not getting it all grubby with their fingers. So that's pretty handy, and I'm definitely going to have some use for these cotton gloves for other stuff that I have too, so they're going to get some use. We have some spare parts, including bands and button faces, along with the Allen wrenches for adjusting pieces on it, as well as the blades themselves. Because it's technically 2 lightsabers, we get 2 charging cables, a manual, and a coupon. This is nice. We get ourselves a metal display plaque. Darth Maul's lightsaber. A disassembled display stand. And here's the stand fully assembled. With that plaque installed, it's quite attractive. 2 blade plugs. And of course, 2 lightsaber blades. But I think we've goofed around long enough now. How about we actually put a blade in this thing? Oh, that's fun. And of course, you can use them as 2 separate sabers if that's what you want. I really wanted to drive home just how huge this thing is with both blades installed. I mean, look at this. It is as tall as my halberd. Because of that, we're just going to stick with the 1 blade for now. Now you have your usual assortment of sound fonts and ignition styles.
Ignition 2.
Now this is the Profi version of the saber. You can tell by the fact that it has these 2 buttons instead of just the 1. I opted for these because I thought that when the lightsabers turned off, they were far less noticeable than the other versions available. I think they just blended in a lot better. And because this is a pixel blade, you can get localized visual effects to happen anywhere along the blade, as well as motion control. Now I really want to go spin this around a bit, but I do not have enough room in here, so let's go outside. Pretty fun. I noticed something kind of funny you can do with the motion controls. Watch this. Now, a quick word of caution that I've realized as I'm playing around with these is that all these little screws can 100% be unscrewed. And if you unscrew them and you lose them in the grass, well, that's why you got spares, right? But if you really wanted to prevent that, you can probably just put like a dollop of glue in the screw hole and set those in, and they won't go anywhere after that. That's really up to you though, what you want to do. A big thanks again to Artsabers for sending this to me. This is a childhood dream come true. It's a really fun saber, and if you'd like to pick up one of your own, I've got a link in the description. This thing's pretty cool, I gotta say. I'm delighted to have this.